Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we're going behind the scenes of something you use every single day.
Oh, yeah?
Text files.
Okay.
Yep, those things that hold like everything from your to-do lists to the code that runs your favorite apps.
It's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to help us unpack this, we have a YouTube tutorial.
Okay.
It's actually aimed at computer science students.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's in Hindi,
Okay.
but we've got you covered with the translations and the most important takeaways.
Awesome.
Now, this video dives into how to use Python code to actually manipulate text files.
Okay.
Kind of like give you superpowers to control them.
Like a text file superhero.
I like it.
And it starts with the basics.
Yeah.
You know what exactly ISC, a text file.
Right.
I mean, think of it like this.
Okay.
It's a sequence of characters.
Okay.
Everything from letters and numbers to punctuation,
Uh-huh.
all stored in a way computers can understand.
Yeah, they're not just random gibberish to the computer. Okay, so it's not just random gibberish to a computer.
Yeah.
It actually makes sense to it.
It makes sense.
The video goes on to show how you can use Python to actually read
Oh, yeah.
and extract specific information from these files,
Interesting.
which brings us to the concept of file modes.
Okay.
It might sound technical, but think about it.
Okay.
You use file modes all the time.
Wait, really? I do.
You do.
I'm not a programmer or anything.
You absolutely do.
Okay.
Imagine opening a PDF to read.
Right.
That's read mode.
Read mode. Okay.
But if you want to edit that PDF,
Yeah.
you need write mode,
Okay.
which is like unlocking the file to make changes.
So you need permission to write.
Yeah, and then there's append mode,
Append.
which lets you add new stuff to the end without erasing what's already there.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense now.
Okay.
It's not just some abstract computer science term.
Yeah.
It's how we interact with files every day.
But what really caught my eye was that the video uses a poem as the example text file.
Oh, wow. Poem.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So it shows how to read the poem line by line using Python code, which is a great way to demonstrate the flexibility of programming.
So you could use it for serious stuff, but also creative things like playing with poetry.
It's like you can use this for serious stuff, but also for creative things like playing around with poetry.
Yeah.
It's not just all numbers and data crunching.
It's not just for, like, spreadsheets and
Right.
databases.
The video then gets into how to use code to find specific lines within the poem.
Okay.
Like finding all the lines that start with a specific letter.
Okay.
They even up the challenge
Wow.
by focusing on lines that begin with vowels.
Ooh, vowels. That sounds tricky.
Yeah.
What's fascinating is that this is a basic example of data processing and analysis.
Okay.
And the same principles apply whether you're analyzing poetry, a financial report, or scientific data.
So whether you're a poet or a scientist, these core concepts are super valuable.
It's about using code to sift through information and find exactly what you need. Imagine searching a giant library for a book with a specific title. That's essentially what this code is doing, but much, much faster.
And that's why this is so important.
Right, really?
Because we're dealing with more and more information these days.
So much data.
Being able to process it quickly and efficiently is like having a superpower.
Yeah, I like that. A data superpower.
Okay, so we've got a handle on what a text file is.
Yeah.
And how file modes control how we interact with them. The video also dives into using Python to actually analyze the text.
Awesome.
It's all starting to come together.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the fascinating world of text files.
Yeah, we're picking up right where we left off, exploring how this YouTube tutorial teaches students to use Python to analyze text.
And it's not just about coding. It's about something much bigger.
Oh.
Computational thinking.
Computational thinking. That sounds pretty intense.
It is.
What exactly is that?
So it's the ability to approach any problem, break it down into smaller steps, recognize patterns, and come up with a logical solution.
Okay.
It's a way of thinking that's useful far beyond just programming.
So even if I never become a coding whiz,
Right.
this type of thinking can help me in other areas of my life.
Absolutely. Think about organizing a huge project at work or figuring out a tricky situation. These same principles apply.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this video is secretly teaching students valuable life skills disguised as a programming tutorial.
Exactly. And it does it in a really clever way.
Okay.
Remember how the video uses a poem as an example?
Yeah.
It shows how to search for lines, starting with specific letters,
Right.
even going as far as identifying lines that start with vowels.
Yeah, it seems simple at first, but I bet there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
You're right, it's a stepping stone.
Okay.
You master this, and then you can move on to much more complex searches, like finding words of a certain length
Okay.
or identifying patterns in a large chunk of text.
So it's like learning your ABCs before you can write a novel.
Yeah.
You need those foundational skills first.
Yeah.
But how do we know this approach is actually working? Are students really getting it?
Well, when you look at the comments on the video, it seems to be resonating with them.
Okay.
They're asking questions
Uh-huh.
and engaging with the material, which is a good sign.
That's awesome. And it's probably because this hands-on approach
Right.
makes even abstract concepts easier to understand.
Mhm.
It's not just dry theory.
Yeah.
It's something you can play with and experiment with, right?
Precisely. And that experimentation is key. That's where the real learning happens.
So the video seems to be quite popular too,
Yeah.
with a lot of views.
It is.
Clearly there's a need for this kind of accessible introduction to programming.
I think that need is only going to grow as our world becomes more and more digital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, these days, understanding how technology works
Right.
is almost as important as knowing how to read and write.
It's true. It's not just about becoming a programmer. It's about being digitally literate. Okay.
Being able to navigate and understand the tech that surrounds us every day.
Okay, so let's talk about the specific programming language used in this video, Python.
Okay.
Why Python and not some other language?
Python is known for being beginner-friendly. Its syntax is fairly straightforward,
Okay.
and it reads almost like plain English.
So it's less intimidating for someone just starting out?
Exactly. And on top of that, Python has a huge and supportive community. So there are tons of resources available for learners.
Plus, from what I've heard, Python is super versatile. You
Yeah.
can use it for all sorts of things, right?
It is web development, data analysis, machine learning, you name it.
Wow.
So it's not just a toy language for learning.
Right.
It's a powerful tool students can actually use for real-world projects.
That's got to be pretty inspiring for them, knowing they're learning something with so much potential.
For sure.
It's almost like planting a seed.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe one of these students will go on to create the next big tech innovation.
You never know where learning might lead.
That's the beauty of it. Now, let's take a moment to zoom out and consider the bigger picture here.
Okay.
We've talked about Textfiles coding and digital literacy,
Mhm.
but there's another important layer to all of this.
Oh.
The democratization of knowledge.
Democratization of knowledge.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that. Tell me more.
Well, think about it. This video is freely available on YouTube.
Right.
Anyone with an internet connection can access it and learn these skills,
Yeah.
regardless of their background or where they live.
It's like breaking down barriers to education.
Yeah.
It's making these concepts accessible to people all over the world.
Exactly. It's leveling the playing field and giving everyone a chance to participate in the digital economy.
It's no longer just for the privileged few who can afford expensive courses or degrees. I love that.
Me too.
It's amazing to think about the ripple effect this kind of content can have.
Yeah,
It's empowering, inspiring, and a little bit revolutionary, don't you think?
I agree. It's a small but significant step towards a more equitable future where everyone has the opportunity to learn and thrive in the digital age. Okay, let's shift our focus back to the video itself.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
One of the things that impressed me was how well structured the video is.
Yeah.
It really breaks down these complex concepts into digestible pieces. What are your thoughts on that?
It's incredibly well done. The video takes a very gradual approach, starting with the very basics. What is a text file and how is it structured?
Kind of like building a house.
Yeah,
You need a strong foundation before you can start adding the walls and roof.
that's a great analogy from there. The video introduces file modes.
Okay.
It explains how you can interact with text files in different ways, like reading, writing, or adding content.
It's like learning to use a new tool.
Yeah.
Think about a screwdriver.
Okay.
You can use it to tighten screws, loosen them,
Yeah,
or even pry things open depending on what you need to do.
exactly. Then the video moves on to the actual Python code. It shows you how to open a text file, read its contents, and perform specific operations, like searching for lines that start with a certain letter, remember.
It all builds on itself step by step. It's very logical. And it's not just about the code itself, right?
No.
I noticed that the video uses visual aids to help you understand what's happening.
Absolutely. You can actually see the code running and its output, which
Right.
makes it so much easier to grasp.
Okay.
It's not just abstract lines of code. It's a tangible process with a visible outcome.
And let's not forget the brilliant use of a poem. as the example.
Oh, yeah.
It's relatable, engaging,
Yeah.
and it injects a dose of creativity into what could be a very technical topic.
It's a clever way to demonstrate that programming can be used for artistic expression, not just for crunching numbers and solving scientific problems.
That really expands your perspective on what's possible with code. So we've talked about the structure and the visuals, but what about the instructor?
Yeah.
How would you describe their teaching style?
The instructor is incredibly clear and concise in their explanations.
Okay.
They avoid using jargon and stick to simple language that's easy for beginners to understand.
It's like they're having a conversation with you, not lecturing at you from a podium.
Exactly. And they have this patient and encouraging demeanor that makes you feel like they're right there with you, guiding you every step of the way.
You can really sense their passion for teaching.
Huh.
They genuinely want to make these concepts accessible to everyone.
And they do a great job of anticipating potential points of confusion and addressing them proactively, which is so helpful for learners.
But it's like a reading your mind.
Yeah.
It's clear they've put a lot of thought into how to present this material in a way that's both informative and engaging. Okay, so wait. You've talked about the structure, the visuals, and the instructor. Let's revisit one of the most important concepts from the video file modes.
File modes are fundamental to understanding how we interact with text files.
Okay.
So it's definitely worth another look.
Okay, break it down for us again. What are the different file modes and why should we care?
The three main file modes are read, write, and append. Remember our PDF example?
Yeah.
When you open a PDF just to view it, you're using read mode.
Right.
You're only consuming the information, not changing it.
It's like reading a book. You're just taking in the story, not writing your own version of it.
Exactly. Write mode, on the other hand, lets you modify the contents of a file.
Okay.
Imagine opening a document and typing in new information or deleting existing text.
Yeah.
That's write mode in action.
So it's like writing in a notebook. You're actively adding your own thoughts and ideas.
Precisely. And then we have append mode.
Append.
This is a special version of write mode.
Okay.
It lets you add new information to the end of a file without overwriting what's already there.
It's like adding a new chapter to a book without erasing the previous chapters.
Yeah.
You're building on what's already there.
Perfect analogy. Understanding these different file modes is crucial because it gives you control over how you interact with text files. It ensures that you don't accidentally delete or change information you didn't mean to.
It's like having different tools for different jobs. You wouldn't use a hammer to tighten the screw, right?
Exactly. Using the wrong file mode can lead to unwanted consequences, so it's essential to choose the right mode for the task at hand.
This video does a great job of explaining all of this in a way that makes sense. Even if you're not a tech expert, it makes you realize that these seemingly complex concepts are actually pretty intuitive once you understand them. Now, let's shift gears and talk about the practical applications of what we've been discussing. How can you actually use these skills in the real world?
The possibilities are practically endless. You can use Python and text file manipulation for so many things, from automating tasks to analyzing data to building web applications.
Wow, that's quite a range. Give me some specific examples.
Okay, imagine you need to process a huge amount of text data, like customer reviews for your business, or social media posts about a particular topic. You could use Python to sift through all that text, extract insights, and identify trends.
That sounds incredibly useful, especially in today's data-driven world. What else can you do?
You could use Python to automate repetitive tasks, like generating reports or sending personalized emails.
Right.
And with the growing field of data science, Python is becoming an essential tool for anyone working with data, whether you're a scientist, a marketer, or a financial analyst.
So it's not just for programmers. These skills are valuable for anyone in a field that relies on data, which is pretty much every field these days.
You're absolutely right. And as technology continues to evolve, being able to code and work with data will only become more important.
This video is definitely giving students a head start in developing those skills. It's an investment in their future. But what about the broader implications for society?
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about how important digital literacy is, but what does it really mean for all of us?
That's a great question. As technology becomes more and more integrated into our lives, it's crucial that we have a basic understanding of how it works.
Okay.
We need to be able to critically evaluate the information we're bombarded with every day, understand the limitations of algorithms, and make informed decisions about the role of technology in our lives.
It's about being empowered, not just being swept along by the tide of technological advancement.
Exactly. And this video is a small but significant step in that direction.
Okay.
It's demystifying coding, making it accessible to a wider audience,
Mm-hmm.
and encouraging people to become creators of technology, not just passive consumers.
That's a powerful message.
Mhm.
It's about taking control of our digital future and shaping it in a way that benefits all of us.
Now let's shift our focus back to the video itself for a moment.
Okay.
What were some of the key takeaways for educators who might be looking for inspiration on how to teach coding and computational thinking?
One of the biggest takeaways is the importance of starting with the basics and building up gradually. Don't overwhelm students with too much information too soon.
Right.
Break down complex concepts into smaller, more digestible pieces.
That's excellent advice. And don't forget the power of using real-world examples and relatable analogies.
Absolutely. Abstract concepts can be tough to grasp, but if you can connect them to things students are already familiar with, it makes the learning process much more engaging.
And don't be afraid to have fun.
Yeah.
Learning should be enjoyable, not a chore. If students are having fun, they're much more likely to stay motivated and retain the information.
This video definitely proves that you can teach coding in a way that's both effective and entertaining. Speaking of teaching, I think it's worth mentioning the role of online learning in today's world. This video is a great example of how online resources can supplement traditional classroom instruction.
You're right. They can provide access to information and expertise that might not be available locally, and they can cater to different learning styles and paces, which is fantastic.
Online learning is also becoming increasingly important in the workplace as a way to stay up to date with the latest skills and technologies.
It's not just for students anymore. It's for lifelong learners of all ages and backgrounds.
And as technology continues to evolve, online learning will only play an even bigger role in our lives.
This video is a testament to the power of online learning and its potential to make education more accessible and equitable for everyone.
Now let's bring it back to the specific content of this video. What stood out to you as particularly insightful or thought-provoking?
One thing that really struck me was the emphasis on understanding how data is structured and organized.
That's a fundamental concept in computer science and data analysis.
Right.
If you don't understand how data is structured, you can't effectively analyze or manipulate it.
It's like trying to build a house without a blueprint.
Right.
You need to know where everything goes and how it all fits together.
This video illustrates this concept beautifully through the example of the text file with its lines and characters.
It shows how data can be broken down into its component parts and how those parts can be manipulated using code. It's a fantastic introduction to the world of data structures and algorithms.
So we've covered data structures.
Yeah?
What about the role of programming languages in all of this?
Programming languages are the tools we use to interact with data and give instructions to computers. They allow us to automate tasks and make computers do our bidding.
This video introduces Python, which we've already talked about. Why is Python such a good choice for this kind of tutorial?
Python is perfect for beginners because it's relatively easy to learn.
Right.
And it has a wide range of applications.
Yeah.
It's a valuable skill to have, even if you don't aspire to be a professional programmer.
So it's a great foundation to build upon.
Yeah.
This video shows how to use Python with text files, but it opens the door to so many other possibilities.
It does. You can use Python for web development, data analysis, machine learning, the list goes on and on. Now let's step back and consider the broader implications of what we've been discussing. We live in a world that's increasingly driven by data and technology, right?
It's more important than ever to have at least a basic understanding of how these things work.
We need to be informed citizens who can critically evaluate information, understand the limitations of technology, and make conscious decisions about how we want technology to shape our world.
It's about being empowered and informed. It's about shaping our digital future, not just being shaped by it. This video is a small step in that direction. It's about demystifying coding, making it accessible, and encouraging people to become active participants in the digital age.
It's about realizing that we all have the potential to understand and even create technology.
Yeah.
It's about opening doors and creating opportunities.
It's about realizing that technology isn't just for a select few. It's for everyone. It's about creating a more equitable and inclusive digital world.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up part 2 of our deep dive.
But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the final part after a quick break. Welcome back. We're diving right back into this amazing deep dive on text files.
Yeah.
It's incredible how much we've uncovered already.
I know, right?
From just one YouTube video.
It's true. It's a testament to how much information and insight can be packed into even seemingly simple things.
Absolutely.
We've explored what text files are, how they work,
Yeah.
and even how to manipulate them using Python.
Right.
But there's one key takeaway I want to emphasize before we finish up.
Okay. I'm all ears. What is it?
It's the power of hands-on learning.
Okay.
The video doesn't just lecture about text files in Python. It actually shows you how to use them step by step.
Yeah, I love that about.
Yeah.
It's not just about absorbing information passively. It's about getting your hands dirty and actually doing something with it.
Exactly. And that active engagement is what leads to a deeper understanding.
Yep.
It's like the difference between reading about how to bake a cake
Yeah.
and actually getting in the kitchen and mixing the batter,
Right.
preheating the oven and frosting the finished product.
You don't truly understand the process until you've experienced it firsthand, right?
Precisely. And that's what this video encourages students to do,
True.
to experiment, to try things out, to learn by doing. And that's a valuable lesson that applies to so much more than just programming.
Absolutely. It's relevant to anything you want to learn,
Yeah.
whether it's playing a musical instrument,
Sure.
writing a novel, or even starting a business.
If you really want to master something, you have to get out there and do it. Make mistakes, learn from them, and keep practicing.
So for anyone listening who's feeling inspired to learn something new,
Yeah.
my advice is simple. Don't just think about it. Do it.
Do it.
Take that first step. Find resources that resonate with you and dive in head first.
And don't be afraid to look for help. There are tons of amazing resources available online,
Right.
many of them free, that can guide you on your learning journey, just like the YouTube video we've been discussing.
It's amazing how much knowledge is out there just waiting to be discovered.
Yeah.
This deep dive has been a fantastic reminder that learning can be both fun and fascinating. It's about opening yourself up to new ideas, challenging yourself, and constantly expanding your understanding of the world.
It's about connecting the dots between different fields and realizing that knowledge isn't isolated.
Right.
It's all interconnected.
What we've learned about text files and Python today could spark an interest in data science, linguistics, or even digital art.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep learning. You never know where that curiosity might lead you. You might even end up making the next big breakthrough in your field.
Well, thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of text files. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into a fascinating topic. Until then, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep those brains buzzing.